Okay, so as you know by the name of virtual welcome, this is really just a way for us to kind of introduce ourselves to you and help you get acclimated to starting classes today. So to start, if you wouldn't mind, if you could just share in the chat your name and where you're from and your program, that would be great. We would love to get a better sense of who's here. And we would like it if you could kind of see maybe some of your potential classmates in the chat. So this session, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the course formats we have here. We're going to talk about some of the different offices throughout campus that can assist you with various things along your journey. And we're going to talk about our platform, which is called Canvas, and different things in self-service to help you succeed here at LaSalle. Just really quickly, I wanted to point out this slide. It shows all of the different programs we have here. You may not have realized that we have so many. Our GPS program is really doing well. It's really strong, and we're adding new programs every day. This is our team. I always like to point out this slide. I think it's nice to put a face to a name because some of you, for instance, if you're working with Candace, who's on the chat, you might not have seen Candace. So everyone in our department from our Vice President, Eric Turner, on down is on this slide. And just in the interest of time, since I know everybody's working from home, it's getting close to dinner, I'm not going to bog us down with too many things, but again, this will be emailed to you. These are the academic advisors. So at LaSalle, as you all know, you worked in this first part of your journey with your enrollment counselor. So that was either Candace, Mark, Amanda, or Amy. And that person is always going to be with you throughout your time here. So if you ever need them, feel free to reach out. But now you're entering into, your academics. You're officially a student here, and you're also going to be assigned an academic advisor. That will be either me, Caroline, Whitney Kuhnlens, or Paula Panchuk. So all of our pictures are up here, and that's just another great resource. And we will help you do things like creating a roadmap and looking at your academic plan, which is something that I'll get to in a few slides. Another person who is in your corner to support you is your program coordinator. The program coordinator is a great resource. They are someone who is not only a professor, but is super knowledgeable in their field. For instance, for someone who's in the education program, you have an added layer of details to worry about. You have to worry about your MTELs. That's why a program coordinator would be really helpful to you. The education program coordinator, Liz Hartman, is amazing. So that's just an extra resource for you to reach out to if you have questions along the way. So the first thing I really wanted to point out is course formats, just in case anybody's a little confused by it. When you think of what I would say a typical college semester, you typically think of fall and spring. So fall would go from September to December. And we do have that here at LaSalle. Those are hybrid courses, which means they meet one night on campus every other week from 6:30 to 9. And then in between class meetings, you would do work online on Canvas and submit assignments online. Other programs have online courses. Those are 8 weeks, and they run continuously year-round. And other programs have both sorts of courses. So I'll give you an example. If you are in the criminal justice program, or if you are in the sport management program, all of your courses are online. So you will only be having 8-week courses. You're either going to be taking a session 1 course or a session 2 course. If you're in a program like the communication program, They have both sorts of classes in that program. So you could take either a full semester 15-week hybrid course, or you could take an 8-week online course, or you could mix and match. If your program offers both sorts of classes and you live close enough to come to campus, you could try courses in both formats and see if you like them. For a fall, for instance, a fall hybrid course, it would run from September to December, like I said, 15 weeks. And within that fall semester, we would have a fall session 1, and we would have a fall session 2. We also have winter intensive courses. Those courses are called winter intensives because they are intense. It basically takes an entire course and condenses it into 2 weeks. So it's definitely a big commitment, and it's something that you want to think about before embarking upon. But they're good if you are, you have a goal to complete your program relatively quickly, and it's a quick turnover and it's a good way to get a class in. The academic calendar is a good tool, and I think will help sort of visualize what I was just talking about. So for instance, for summer 2020, Summer Maine runs from today through August 31st. And within that period of time, we have Summer 1, which runs through July 7th, and Summer 2, which runs from July 8th through August 31st. Here at LaSalle, we do offer classes year-round, continuously. So important dates, obviously, to remember are the start of a session and also the add drop deadline. So for today's starting session, add drop is Thursday, May 21st. That is the last date that you can add a class. And it's also an important date to remember because it's the last date you can drop a class without having any sort of financial penalty. You can drop a class past that date, but with every single week that goes by, you will get less and less of a refund. And then there is eventually a point where you can no longer drop the course. So here is an example of a welcome letter. This is a real life welcome letter that someone received. You should have all received a welcome letter that looked like this. If you didn't, please reach out to your enrollment coach as soon as possible, because as you can see, it has a lot of different tools on it. And this basically introduces you to a step-by-step guide of how to get started, and we're going to explore that in a little bit. So at the top here, it has your user ID, and then below it, it has just a computer-generated password. So one of the things that we recommend here on the next screen in this to-do list is first check your password, or change your password. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the link to this page, which I think I don't have anymore. So let me go back to this. Okay, in your welcome letter, in your the very bottom in the email, there's a link to a to-do list. And all of the things that we recommend that you do, it takes you to a page, and you can change your password. You can have your email forwarded from your LaSalle email to your Gmail or whatever email that you check most frequently. You can also complete an orientation, a self-paced orientation that's different from this today, what we're doing. And I'll show you how to find that when we go into self-service. So I definitely recommend going back to your welcome letter, keeping that handy, and checking that out. So the biggest thing that we're gonna really focus on today is My LaSalle. That's really where everything lives. So I'm going to show you what My LaSalle looks like. So this is My LaSalle, mylasalle.edu. That's how you get here. Everything over here on the left are sort of quick links to where you need to go. First of all, obviously staying updated on COVID right now is very relevant and important to do. But other things, Self-service. Self-service is where you view your academic plan. It's where you register for classes. So when you click into self-service, this screen will come up. You'll enter in your username and your password, and then you'll be good to go. When you click the register button, once you're in self-service, that's how you'll get to your academic plan. Now, I'm not a student, so I don't have an academic plan, and everybody's academic plan is going to look different. So I took a picture, I screenshot one so you could see it. So this is just an example of the top part of an academic plan, and it keeps going down, just so you can kind of get an idea of what it will look like. Your academic plan is going to have every single course required in your program. So if we were in this academic plan and this was, your real life plan, you would scroll down and there would be additional courses listed. This is a really good starting point. If you've completed a class successfully, it'll have a little circle next to it with a check mark. If you are either in a course currently, so for instance, your summer 1 classes, or if you've registered for a course for the fall, you'll have this little hourglass next to it. And that means it's on the books for you or you're currently taking it right now. If you see a course with nothing next to it at all and it's just blank, that means you have not registered for it, you're not currently taking it. So that's something you would still need to take. The academic plan is really, really important because you want to make sure that every session you're only registering for courses that you actually need to take. Because that is something that we've run into before, is sometimes students forget what's required for their program and they sign up for courses they don't need. And usually we catch that. Our registrar is amazing, but we don't ever want you to be spending time doing something you don't need for your program. So definitely keep that in mind. And the other reason why the academic plan is really important is because our advising team, if you would like us to then create a roadmap for you based on your goals, so say, you want to graduate in 2 years and you want to take 2 classes at a time and you want to take the summers off, we can look at all the courses required for your program and we can try to come up with a roadmap of how that's possible for you. So in order to do that, I want to just point out a couple of other tools for you. So when you're here at MyLaSalle Self-Service, as I said, this is kind of your gateway into everything you need to know. And one of the things that you will find on here is if you go to Academics, this tab over here on the left, and you go down to the graduate program, you'll find on this page things like the graduate course rotation, the graduate course offerings, and tutorial videos. All these bullet points down here have things for you to explore. One of the things that you'll definitely want to take a look at that you can find here is the graduate course rotation. So I've picked it out for you up here and I've put it up here. It's a really long document, and at first it can be kind of intimidating. Basically what it is every single course, graduate course that we offer, and when it's scheduled to be offered. So if you're trying to go through your plan and decide when you're going to take classes, this is exactly what you would need to look at. So definitely when you have a chance later, go on to self-service and save this document. An important thing to keep in mind is that it's a really good planning tool. It is subject to change. So if we were to scroll all the way down to the bottom of this, you can see it's 9 pages. Page 9, you would see that this course rotation was updated on March 24th. So definitely make sure that you're checking it periodically to make sure that you're working with the latest course rotation. And just a really, really quick little tutorial on it. So say you're in the CJ program and you want to find out when CJ 701 is offered. you would look right here on this first line and look at the X's. So you would see, okay, it's offered fall session 1, spring session 1, and summer 1. So that is very, very helpful. Another thing that I wanted to show you over here in my LaSalle is Canvas. So Canvas is where you will go take your classes. So let's click into Canvas, and this is my dashboard. Everybody's dashboard is going to look differently because everybody is taking different classes, but it's the same setup in terms of these little boxes are each a class, essentially. So if I were to click into this graduate and professional studies online orientation, which is something that you should all have on your dashboard, you will see some really, really helpful tools. You go over here into modules, and you can see things like, how do I submit an online assignment? Or how do I, edit my profile and my user account? Whatever, all of these things. Now, this is just your self-paced tutorial, and even though it looks like a class, it's not. So it's not graded or anything like that. But this is just a helpful tool for you that will always be here on your dashboard. So the really great thing about kind of the tools we provide for you is they don't go away. So you don't have to worry right now about absorbing all of this completely because you can relay back to it. And in general, every class is going to look the same in terms of these little links over here on the left. So for instance, if you want to know how to check my grades, there's a link right here for grades. If you want to post a discussion post, there's a link right here for discussions. Down here, I want to point out this chat button. So this is a really helpful way that you can send a message directly to the professor of your course. But one thing to keep in mind is this is not LaSalle email. So this is just the chat. So sometimes it will get a little confusing and students will say to me, I never got this email from financial aid, or I never got this email from the registrar, because they're looking right here at the chat. All of your official LaSalle correspondence go to your LaSalle email. And this button right here, Office 365, that's how you get there. So that's just one way, one thing to keep in mind. Another button down here to point out is Starfish. That is, it has online tutoring right in there, but it's also another way that professors can correspond with you. Sometimes if a student hasn't shown up to a class or maybe isn't submitting assignments, professors will what's called raise a flag in Starfish, and that will alert the advising team to reach out to you and let you know some things going on. Whitney likes to point that out. It's not as heavily used on the graduate side as it is on the undergraduate side, but it is a good tool to keep in mind. And I wanted to go back up here and refer to this page that I found. I was mentioning earlier in your welcome email that you all got that there's a link to a new student to-do list. And if you click on this link, this is where it takes you. So change your password, check and forward LaSalle email, access LaSalle email on your cell phone. Everything you need to know to get started and off the ground is right here. It also has the link to the IT help desk. They are probably going to become your best friends. They're definitely my best friends. They're available 24/7, and they really are really, really helpful. So anytime you need something, don't hesitate to reach out. Some of the other things we have on the new student to-do list aren't as relevant right now just because of what's going on with COVID. An example would be getting a student ID card. Some students like to have a physical student ID card because they can use it, like if they get a cool discount somewhere, which I'm all about. But as you know, since we're doing everything remote now, that's a little tough to go to the police office right now and get an ID. If you do need your ID for something, one good thing to know is that you can still get your ID number. And if you need that, we can show you how to find that. It's called your torch number. That's the same thing. So hopefully, though, when we're back on campus in the fall, if federal guidelines allow, you can get a student ID if you would like, and you can also get a parking permit. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. Okay. So we've talked about the academic plan, and I touched on this already, but you also are going to get an academic advisor, and you're going to have an advisor assigned to you who will stay with you throughout your entire time in your program, reach out to you at the beginning of every session just as a reminder saying, hey, this class is available that you didn't register for but you needed, or whatever the case may be, checking in with you. And we're really here to help you succeed. So please don't ever hesitate to utilize us as a resource. And it's definitely better to ask too many questions than too little, I would say. So Canvas, we talked about, it's our online learning platform. And I really wanted to just draw attention to this slide again, the IT slide. If you need any help with anything, if you don't know how to use Canvas, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Please don't hesitate to refer back to this presentation that we'll email out, or refer back to the online orientation, which is on your Canvas dashboard. But feel free also to email IT. They're really, really helpful. I would suggest writing this down and keeping it taped next to your computer, this information right here. So the library on campus is another thing I wanted to draw your attention to. It is a brick and mortar building here on our campus, but we have students who live all over the country, and not everyone can get to the library. So we do have an online database that you can access all of the information. And we also have something called interlibrary loan. So if we don't have something in our library, you can get it through another library in our network. One of the things that lives in the library physically is the Academic Achievement Center. If you were able to walk into our library, you would see it. But again, you don't have to be able to go to the library to use this resource. The Academic Achievement Center has free tutoring that you can utilize, which is so great. It's great not only if you need a little extra help with a certain subject matter or course, but even if you just want someone to help you proof a paper. So it can be anything from a one-time thing to something set up weekly. They do, the whole gamut. Their hours are listed right there at the top, and you can see that they are open 4 days a week until 9 p.m. And that's specifically to cater to our graduate students, many of whom are working. But if for some reason none of these times work for you, please do not take that as a sign that you are not welcome. Email their email address right down here, ac@lasell.edu, to set something up. They are super helpful, very, very nice, and they really want students to succeed, and they will work with you to find a time where you can connect with them. The Career Development Center is another office I wanted to point you out to as a resource. When we are on campus operating on all cylinders, they take in-person walk-in appointments, or specifically scheduled appointments, but they also take appointments via Skype or phone. So no matter where you live, no matter what your schedule, you can utilize the Career Development Center. They will help you with everything from looking over your resume to mock interviewing to helping you look for internships. I've had people use them throughout their programs if they want to do an internship, not for credit and just as a way to kind of build up their resume. And I've also had people use them when they get to their capstone at the end to try to find a specific internship for their capstone course. So we allotted just about half an hour for the presentation part. So we're right on track here. And we've gotten to the end. So I just wanted to reiterate, please do not ever hesitate to reach out. I think that it's kind of hard to visualize how some of these things work until you actually start using them. So until you actually start your class, which starts today for a lot of you, it'll be hard to kind of have in your mind, you know, this is how Canvas works and this is what I do for this. As you use it, I think one thing that's really good is it is, I think, user friendly. That's not to say no one will have questions, but I think it'll become clearer as you use it, and with you being able to refer back to that online orientation that's right on your Canvas dashboard next to all your other classes. I think you're going to feel good about it. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, whether it be, I can't figure out how to use this system, or, you know, I don't think my professor is getting my email, or whatever it may be. Please don't wait, because we really want to help you. The professors here are awesome. They really want you to succeed as well. Another thing that's great about LaSalle in terms of your support system and your professors is all the classes, whether they're on campus or online, are capped. Usually there's a max of 23 students. And so no matter what format you're taking class in, your professor is going to know you. They're going to know your name. They're going to want you to do well. And we want you to do well too. You have a lot of people in your corner. So if you ever have a question or need support, please reach out. This final slide has the contact info of me, Elizabeth Milano, Whitney Kuhnlens, who's the Director of Graduate Student Services, and also the general email address for us is gradprofstudies@lasalle.edu. So please, again, never, ever, ever hesitate to reach out. So I know that it looks like the chat has been pretty active. Thank you, Caroline and Candace, for handling that. But does anybody have a specific question that they would like to ask over, you know, in front of everyone? And if you don't, that's totally fine. Okay, doesn't look like it, which is totally fine. Okay, so I'm going to close this out. Hopefully that was helpful. We wanted it to be a little helpful. Yep.
You just got a question to show how to forward the email again.
Sure. Yep. Okay. Can you see my screen, everybody? Yes, I think. Okay. So in your welcome email, there is a link that is to a new student to-do list. And if anyone needs their welcome letter again, we, the advising team, have a copy, and so does your enrollment coach. So we can send that to you. So don't worry if you don't have that. But that will take you to this page here. It says welcome new students. And it's basically like a to-do list right on this page. So check and forward LaSalle email. We click on that to automatically forward LaSalle email to another account. So you'll log into your LaSalle email. There's instructions for that above if you don't know how to do that, so don't worry. And it has step-by-step right here of how to do it. Another thing I wanted to say, if anyone, you know, I showed my email address at the end. I'm happy to just copy and paste something to you really quick. I don't want any questions from this to go unanswered. So if you're unclear about anything, email us. But these are the steps right here. I'm not going to read them aloud just because I feel like that's sort of death by PowerPoint, so to speak, but they're all right here. And right below it, access LaSalle email on your phone. That would be really helpful too, because I know that, well, I was going to say, as we're out and about, not that we're out and about often these days, but if we ever get back to the point where we can be out and about, you know, going to Target, doing whatever we need to do, you can access your LaSalle email on your phone, and that's really helpful to have as well. Caroline, thank you for pointing that out to me. All right. Any other questions? Maybe Caroline, give me the yay or nay. Do you see any other questions?
Not at the moment. I think you're just that thorough.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I really, really appreciate it. I'm really glad that you're all in this session. Earlier session had a little bit of an audio issue, so I'm really glad you're all here in this one. And I am going to shut this out, and everybody have a great night, and please stay in touch, and good luck in summer 1.